Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, January 5th. Ian Cameron with you. Alex B. Smith, little upset stomach today, so going to return with us tomorrow on the Tuesday show. Perlo will be here in just a moment as well, ready to break down this Monday NHL card. Looking forward to it. We've got 5 games on tap here for Monday night. We'll get into those in just a little bit. And as you can see behind me, Christmas tree's gone. That's always the rule here for the Ian Cameron household here, that when we get to that first Monday in the new year, out goes the Christmas tree. Holidays are over. So back to, we'll have to find some way to fill some space there behind me. It's a little too barren, but that's another story. It's not interior decorating you're here for. You're here for the picks. You're here for some hockey analysis and betting analysis. So with that in mind, let's look back on what we saw on Sunday as far as NHL action is concerned. It was a day that was, not the best day, I'll be honest. Saturday was good, but yesterday was kind of, when it's all said and done. We did have the over in the Pittsburgh-Columbus game was the best result of the day for me overall. Actually, no, we had the couple Florida bets that came through, but the Pittsburgh-Columbus game was terrific. We got the draw in that game, plus 310. We had the over 6.5, and I stuck with it, even though Jet Greaves was in net for Columbus, just noting how strong an over series history it had been between the Penguins and the Blue Jackets. And Pittsburgh, what a comeback win for them. 5-4. They tied it in the dying seconds with Rickard Rakell's goal. And then Sidney Crosby with the overtime winner. Very, very painful loss for Columbus, considering, they started that game well. They had a 4-2 lead going into the third period. Could not hold it with their best goaltender in net either. So there's no doubt that's a kick in the you-know-what for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Losing that game yesterday to Pittsburgh, but Penguins come back at the 5-4 win. I forgot to mention the day started with Montreal. What a win for them. 4-3. They beat the Dallas Stars. I didn't have anything on this game. This is a complete pass for me, and that doesn't happen very often. But you give Montreal credit. 4-3 win over the Dallas Stars, as the Dallas Stars are in a little bit of a funk, a little bit of a slump right now, as they fall to the Montreal Canadiens 4-3 in that game. Pretty impressive game from multiple Montreal players. Lane Hudson getting the overtime winner. So nice win there for Montreal to beat the Dallas Stars on the road 4-3. And Dallas still looking to get out of their recent losing streak, which continued last night with that loss. We cashed the best bet on the show yesterday. I love that spot, and it was nice to see it come through. Florida first goal, first period at plus 135 yesterday against Colorado. We were able to cash that one in the opening period. Colorado tied it just a couple of minutes right after that. But then Florida ends up getting a 2-1 win. I thought it was a pretty sound, solid team effort from the Panthers. They certainly cashed in a little bit on Colorado, coming in late from Raleigh, North Carolina, where they had the comeback against the Hurricanes last night. Not an easy scheduling spot for Colorado. Florida, the beneficiary of it. I think Florida pretty pissed off, too, with the way the Winter Classic went for them, losing 5-1 to the Rangers. So it was a nice bounce back for the Panthers. Give Daniil Tarasov a lot of credit. He played very well in the victory for the Florida Panthers last night. To hold that juggernaut Colorado team offensively to 1 goal, you give them all the credit for that. So 2-1 Florida there. Carolina, after a horrific loss to Colorado and another blown lead, that is the Carolina defense that we have seen from them a lot over the years. Much better. They got good goaltending from Brandon Bussey, only giving up 1 goal, and that was to Dawson Mercer. And then when they got the 2-1 lead and then the 3-1 lead from Stankoven in the third period, they just shut it down. Didn't give New Jersey a ton. It was just a really, really good third period there. And when they did get the shots, Bussey was there and made the saves. New Jersey did have a pretty good push in the third period, but weren't able to solve Brandon Bussey, and Carolina gets a much-needed 3-1 win there in that game. And I said it after this game ended, and I know Alex was happy. A hat trick for Tyler Bertuzzi, getting all 3 Chicago goals to beat the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 in overtime. I had the first period over, lost the full game over, and unfortunately lost Vegas team total. I was very, very disheartened to see this kind of a performance from Vegas. And I said it on Twitter after that loss to Chicago. That was supposed to be a scheduled loss for the Chicago Blackhawks. After beating Washington on Saturday, coming in late, back-to-back, Vegas has got to stop the bleeding, a second game with Eichel back from injury. You're supposed to win that if you're the Vegas. And Soderblom, you draw Soderblom in net as opposed to Spencer Knight. You're supposed to win that game. That is a concern right now for Vegas, what I'm seeing from them. They only mustered 15 shots, 15 for the hockey game. 15 shots on goal last night against Chicago. Yeah, I don't want to say panic button there, my friend in the chat here, S.A. Padilla, but I'm telling you what, the concern level's certainly going up on the Vegas Golden Knights after that performance last night. But give Chicago credit, tough back-to-back, and they found a way to win, and they played very good defensively, and Vegas didn't generate enough, which is pretty inexcusable because now they have Jack Eichel back. What are the reasons for that? Just not very good. By the way, too, 0 shots on goal last night. I hate to pile on Mitch Marner, but 0 shots on goal last night. He couldn't find him with a telescope on the ice, quite honestly. They didn't pay all that money for that. I'll tell you that from him. But no, that was disappointing for Vegas. That was a spot that was screaming, they get off the schneid. They snap the losing streak, and they get right against Chicago, and they still didn't. And they only had 15 shots. It's concerning, man. They're just not playing good hockey. They suck right now. I said it on Twitter. I'll say it now. They suck right now. The Vegas Golden Knights suck right now. And they have got concerns everywhere. There's people not performing to the way they should be offensively. Their defensive game has declined without Theodore. And since he's been out, they can't keep the puck out of the net. And then their goaltending, you don't know what you're going to get night to night. Whether it's Schmid, whether it's Hart, who the hell knows what you're going to get from Aiden Hill if and when he finally returns from injury. Yeah, there's worries right now for Bruce Cassidy and company. Big time worries at the moment. Perlo, good to see you, my friend. Your thoughts on Sunday?
I bit the bullet and took the over in those two, in the Canadian Stars and the Penguins Blue Jackets. I threw the afternoon Sunday out the window and said I just couldn't see unders in those games. So I did have the over in those. I tailed you on that Panthers play, but I also took Panthers full game too for a very little bit. It just was a bad spot for Colorado, and I'm a spot better. So if you throw me, if I can make plus money on something, I'll throw a little bit on it if I feel it's the right spot. But after that, like you said, not just the Golden Knights. I don't know what the hell is going on. How do you only get 15 shots on goal in that spot? This is ridiculous, my friends. This is horrible.
5 shots per period average.
Unbelievable. Okay, I could see you losing that game if you outshot them 40-15 and you got goalied or something like that, but that was an absolute pathetic performance. I don't know what they have to, I don't know what's going on there. They had this kind of thing last year in the middle of the year, and I remember Alex saying, watch out for fade the Golden Knights in the playoffs, and we all took them to possibly win the cup here, and now I'm just seeing a complete lack of character. I don't even know how to put my finger on exactly what's wrong here, but they got to figure it out somehow, because brutal. I don't know if they got to take him out back and smack him around or whatever they got to do, but you can't have a performance like that against Chicago. I had the Golden Knights, and I would have bet it again. Not now, but at the time I would have. They should have been winning that game. And to tell you the honest truth, it's not much different with the Devils. 6 games and 9 nights the Hurricanes are playing, and I know at least they got shots, and they played okay, but it's got to the point where you're just making way too many excuses for this Devils team. The one time they actually decide to do something is when I take Columbus as the best bet on the show last time, or one of my best bets anyways. But I'm not going to be taking New Jersey for anything, or Vegas for anything right now, until I see something completely different from both of those teams. I don't know if it's coaching or what it is, but those were really bad spots to lose. Simple as that. So, but not a bad day overall. It's just like you basically kind of ranted the same thing I was going to rant. Those were terrible losses for those two teams.
They were absolutely on. Speaking of awful losses, Canada in the World Junior Hockey Championship, that was not a great loss either. Although I wouldn't, they did not lose the game. Czechia won the game. I agree with everyone on TSN on the panel that said that. Czechia was the better team.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't believe that, I don't know what game you were watching. Like, at 5-on-5, Czechia outplayed Canada. Canada was a power play machine early. All their offense was on the power play. At 5-on-5, Czechia was better in that game. There's no question about that. So, full marks. Czechia deserves to be in the gold medal game tonight against Sweden, while Canada will play Finland for bronze. The Canada-Czechia game was phenomenal. It was, and most times, it would be the best semifinal of the two. And yet it still wasn't as good as Finland-Sweden. That game was insane. Finland and Sweden, the first semifinal, was nuts. It was the overtime. There was like 10 grade A chances combined with the two teams, and the puck didn't go in. Like, it was just spectacular hockey. And, of course, the long, extended shootout, and eventually Sweden got the victory. So Sweden and Czechia for gold, Canada, Finland for bronze later today at the World Junior Hockey Championship in front of a paltry crowd, most likely. In Minnesota, where the crowds have not been very good since the U.S. got knocked out. That you don't want to see. You still want to see the local support come out for the tournament, even after the U.S. gets bounced, and we haven't seen that in Minnesota. So tough attendance figures, tough look to see what the attendance has been there for those games at the World Junior. But it's been a great tournament, and of course it comes to an end later today. All right, let's get into the Monday card. Oh yeah, the Luke Hughes. I should comment on that. That's tough, right? He had a terrible night. There's no doubt. Own goal twice in the game against Carolina last night. To hear the fans just booing him that heavily, yeah, that's tough. Look, that's tough to see that. And he's a good kid, and I appreciate what he did. I have respect like you can't believe for Luke Hughes talking to the media after that, after having those goals go in, after the crowd's booing your ass out of the building, and you still speak to the media there and own it and talk about it. And, you got to give him respect for that. There's no question. He had a terrible night. Yeah, that's all. And he spoke to the media. You give him credit for that, no question. So, like I said, and yeah, he's getting paid. I get it. Yeah, he's getting paid. He's got to be better. He does. He's a guy that I think they expect more from, especially because he's been paid so well. And like I said, but I give him all the credit in the world for at least facing the music after the game. He didn't run and hide. He spoke to the media. He owned it, and that you give him credit for. But he does have to start playing a lot better. That is for sure. Speaking of teams or players that have to play a lot better, Anaheim's got to start playing a lot better. Will the road be what fixes their woes as they begin a road trip tonight in the nation's capital? Anaheim, Washington. We got Capitals minus 145 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. I kind of think there's a good thing for Anaheim to get on the road, get away from home, get away from this and you've been struggling. There's no doubt. You haven't been scoring nearly as much. Your defensive game has really had a rough go during this stretch, and you've been giving up goals left and right. Like I said, we'll see if maybe getting on the road, which often can be a bonding experience for a team, galvanizes a team, you come together. Can that maybe help and assist the Anaheim Ducks here to get out of this funk? I'm telling you what, from a Washington standpoint, I'm not going to say Anaheim's going to win this game, but there's a chance for them. There absolutely is, because Washington's not in great form at the moment. You see them. They've lost 3 of their last 4 going into this game. They're also a banged-up hockey team, and it's not just who may miss the game tonight. It's the fact that the players that may miss the game tonight for Washington have been their best scoring forwards by far lately. Tom Wilson is one. He's already been ruled out for this game. That's a huge loss because he's been putting the puck in like a Pez dispenser right now as far as putting the puck in the net for the Washington Capitals. So Tom Wilson will be missed. Alexei Protas is a game-time decision. He got injured in the game against Chicago as well. That's probably their next best scorer right now for the Washington Capitals after Wilson. Protas has been in great form in recent games. So you definitely aren't going to have Wilson. And if Alexei Protas doesn't play as well, that's going to be a lot. They've really had a lot of that offense for the Capitals lately go through those two guys. So, you're going to need to see obviously more from, Ryan Leonard, people in the chat mentioning him. He's Exhibit A player that's probably going to get a lot more opportunity and ice time with some of these absences for Washington. So certainly from a player prop standpoint, value on Ryan Leonard here makes sense tonight for Washington. And Peter Mrazek being in net 99% of the time when I see that, it's him, not Dostal. And that freaks me out. It scares the hell out of me because we know he's an older goalie. His numbers this year aren't great. And we know he's still not as good as Dostal. But Dostal has not been good. Dostal has not looked right, has not looked like his usual self since his injury. Since he returned from injury, it's not been good for Lukáš Dostal. So it's almost like, under normal circumstances, when Dostal is right, this is a huge downgrade in between the pipes. It's not so much a downgrade, in my opinion, compared because of Dostal not playing well right now. Obviously Mrazek is not very trustworthy either, but this is more, you get away from a place where as great as they were at home to begin the year, and now you see them losing all these games left and right. I think Anaheim shows up tonight. Whether that's enough to win, that's another story. But I think it's enough to take him at plus 125. At least for me, it is. And you've got Charlie Lindgren starting in net for Washington, so you draw the weaker of the two netminders for the Capitals here in this game. Charlie Lindgren, by the way, has been giving up 3 goals or more in most of his starts right now going into this game tonight. So I'm going to take my shot here with Anaheim plus 125 is the best price out there with them right now here in this game. Now, the juice on the total has moved. This was 6.5, near even money, and now it's 6.5 shaded heavily to the over here, minus 125, minus 130 in this game. So I certainly could only look at an Anaheim game over the total right now, and obviously with a Lindgren-Mrazek matchup, you can see why the juice has shifted. So I will be on this over 6.5 as well. My one concern with the over, Perlo, is that Washington's without maybe their 2 best goal scorers right now, 2 of their best goal scorers. If Wilson's out and if Protas is out too, and he's a GTD, that's guys that have contributed combined for so much of their goal scoring lately for this Washington team, and they would miss them. What do you think here, Perlo, Anaheim, Washington?
I got the over last night at a 6 when it first came out. Wow. And that was before I knew what the goaltending situation was going to be. I had no idea. But like you said, I can't take Anaheim Ducks team right now on an under. So I'm just playing them over, even though it's better at home. I still liked it anyways, and now I'm glad I did because with the goaltending situation. And like you said, okay, it's going to be a little more difficult. It's going to be a step-up spot for a couple guys there like Michael or Leonard. They're going to get a really good opportunity here to pot a couple goals. But Anaheim has been allowing goals against teams that are not very good. So I'm just going to keep on rolling with it, and I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the draw here. I think this is a very good draw spot, and a little bit on the Ducks. Give me draw and dog. Not really trusting Mrazek, but I agree with that. You're getting it off the road. Washington's losing a couple of guys. They don't have their mojo going right now. I can't take them at minus 145. So I might as well take a little bit on the Ducks here, a little bit on the draw, and I like the over. I got it as 6, but I'll back it at 6.5.
Yeah, I don't mind the Anaheim first goal, first period. I'm not best betting it, obviously, like I did with Florida yesterday, but I expect urgency from Anaheim. I do. All the quotes from Quenneville, from Carlson, a lot of the players, urgency. We need to come together on this road trip and play better hockey and be better early in games. So when I start to read that kind of stuff, the first goal, first period, the Ducks maybe find it. And plus Chicago got on the board first against them on Saturday. But like I said, so I expect urgency, though, from Anaheim. Now, Washington is off their own bad loss against Chicago, so it's not like they're rolling over. I expect them to, want to bounce back. But, again, I don't love what I'm seeing from the Capitals, and they're the team minus 145 here going into this one. As far as props go for this game, Seneca, Beckett Seneca with goals in back-to-back games, as is Dylan Strome. I like Ryan Leonard. I'm with everybody in the chat when it comes to Ryan Leonard. Ryan Leonard is someone you can probably target here for Washington, someone that's obviously going to see an increase in minutes and ice time with the absences of Wilson and possibly Protas too there is a chance that Protas is out for the Capitals here tonight as well. So keep that in mind with that. So those are some of the props I would be looking at here in this game. Seneca, Strome, Ryan Leonard here for the Washington Capitals. It looks like too, from the looks of things, for the Ducks as well. Granlund too might be getting bumped to the second line. If that happens, that's probably worth a look too on the Anaheim Ducks side for a player prop here. All right, Utah Mammoth and New York Rangers. We've got even money, -110 both sides, 5.5 the total here in this game. Give the Rangers credit, man. Not many people would have had 5-1 Rangers on their bingo card in the Winter Classic over the Florida Panthers, who, of course, have been playing much better hockey since the beginning of December. But here we are, a 5-1 win for the New York Rangers. So all the full marks for them for that victory. But that's the tail end of a 6-game road trip for them. These have been brutal spots for teams coming home off a road trip of that magnitude. And that's exactly what we're seeing here in this game for the Rangers. Back home, where, again, they've struggled all year for the most part. They've actually won a few recently at home. Like they beat Philly at home in their last home game in a shootout. But they lost to Vancouver and Anaheim right before that on home ice. And still for the season, we're talking 5-13 on home ice for the New York Rangers. That's just not very good. And you factor in, not only is it the end of the 6-game road trip, but the pomp and circumstance of the Winter Classic, rolling in there and putting a 5-1 thumping on the, 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. This has fatigue spot, bad scheduling spot, long-ass road trip, and a letdown spot, all wrapped up into one ugly combination here for the New York Rangers, coming off the Winter Classic too. So I like Utah first goal, first period. I like Utah first period money line. I like Utah full game money line. We're going to split it up with all three of those evenly. We're not going one unit each. I want to make note of that. We're going Utah first goal, first period, Utah first period money line, and Utah full game money line, even bets across the board for me in this game. I just think it's brutal for the New York Rangers here. And Utah's actually beaten them 2 out of the last 3 meetings. And also they won in Madison Square Garden last year, the Utah Mammoth, when they played this New York Rangers team. So, like I said, this is just an ugly shit sandwich of a spot in all facets. You're off a long-ass 6-game road trip. You're off the Winter Classic, emotional letdown after all the hoopla that goes with the Winter Classic. You're back home where you've stunk all year, 5-13. And plus Utah's coming off a game that they're not going to be thrilled with. They just got their ass beat by the New Jersey Devils on Saturday. Not a good performance from Utah in that game. So they're off a bad loss too, Utah. So they'll be looking to bounce back. So, yeah, I think it really sets up well for Utah. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it does make me want to back the Mammoth here tonight. What do you think here, Perlo? Utah, New York Rangers.
Like I said, I bet spots, and this is definitely a spot. I'm taking Utah here for sure. I got puck line first period and money line and full game. That's what. Oh, and you said first goal, first period. I always forget that one. Maybe I'll throw that in there too. But yeah, I love Utah here. This is a really tough spot because it's coming off an emotional win like that, an exciting event too, and now you're coming home to play Utah. I can't say I love Utah, but I can't see it being very easy to get up.
I guarantee you, Perlo, that our very own favorite New York Rangers fan in our Ice Guys family, John Massey, he'll have a Utah ticket in his pocket tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah. I would think so, yeah. I'd almost lean to the team total over 2.5 if you can get a decent price on it too. Just put them all out there. High volume. You'll hit some of them and you should end up green. I'm with you on the Utah spot.
All right, good stuff there. As far as props here, I don't know what it is, but he seems to score in bunches for Utah, and he finally scored last game. He's actually scored twice in the last 10 games for them, but he scored last game against he scored their only goal against New Jersey on Saturday when they lost 4-1. Michael Carcone. We're going to dabble with Michael Carcone here for Utah, in that plus 600 range, because I find he's streaky. He gets a goal in one game, he's going to get, a couple, moving forward. So that's definitely a prop that I'm interested in here for this Utah Mammoth team. Are you going to say something, Perlo? No. All right, we can move on then. All good. We got Detroit and Ottawa.
No. I just noticed that Krause is up in the top line. If you want to go on that too, they're moving Krause.
Oh, good find. Let me just double. Yes, I see
That's
that.
what
Yeah.
I see that. I don't know. Yeah, Krause wouldn't be a bad spot.
Yeah, Krause with Keller and Schmaltz. Definitely. Yeah, that's worth a look. We always like that situation, player moving up the lineup to the top line in particular, and we have that with Lawson Krause here tonight for the Utah Mammoth in this game. So I agree with that. There's definitely some good value with him maybe to find the back of the net playing on that top line. All right, it's on Monday. It's only on Prime. It's our Monday night hockey game on Prime. Detroit, Ottawa. Ottawa minus 150. Home favorite, 6 the total here in this game. This is one of these games where all day long I see this price and I think I've got to bet Detroit plus 130. And then I see what the way Detroit played on Saturday, and I'm wondering, is this going to be one of their little hiccups now? Is this going to be the start of a little funk, a little losing streak? And let's be honest, they're due for one. Detroit, they're due for a little bit of a hiccup. They're due for one of these stretches where they lose 6 out of 7 games. And I'm starting to think this could be the beginning of one of these skids starting to percolate here for the Detroit Red Wings. So I don't feel totally comfortable backing Detroit here. I lean Detroit because of the price that they're getting. And you're still talking about an Ottawa team that's playing with, Levi Merilainen in net. Although he's, to be quite honest with you, he's played better in spurts than you would think, and certainly got the victory against Winnipeg 4-2. And the victory against Washington 4-3, and these back-to-back wins to get Ottawa off the schneid and losing 3 straight. So I don't know. The vibe, that game was just so pathetic for Detroit. It makes me think they're going to start to go in the tank a little bit here, this Detroit Red Wings team. I don't want to say in the tank like they're going to totally fall right down to the bottom of the standings, but I do think they might be going on a little bit of a funk. I don't like what I've seen. Are you kidding me that they only get 12 shots on goal against that? We talked about Vegas and the 15 shots that they only got against Chicago, against this Pittsburgh defense, which has been terrible for the large part of the last month, and you only get 12 shots, 12 for the entire game at home against Pittsburgh after you lost in Pittsburgh to that same team just 2 days before. That's not a good sign, in my opinion, here for this Detroit Red Wings team. So, and Ottawa's got a little momentum to them right now. They've also owned Detroit lately. 6-1 in the last 7 meetings against the Detroit Red Wings. So there's enough here that I don't feel great about. I don't feel comfortable enough with Detroit in this spot. Even though I like the price, and they still have the better record, or they're higher in the standings than Ottawa. But I'm starting to see pendulum swing. Ottawa's starting to play a little bit better after they struggled, and maybe Detroit's going to show signs now of starting to level off a bit after their great run to put them in a spot where for much of the last, month or two, they've been first place in the Atlantic Division. But now they've been caught in that division race by the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have 53 points. Montreal now is tied with them with 52 points. So there are teams that have caught this Red Wings team. There's not a whole lot I love here. Totals wise, kind of the same thing now with Detroit. And with Merilainen in net, I guess I kind of lean over, but I don't love it. Don't love anything overall side or total in this game. Perlo, what do you think? Red Wings, Senators.
Yeah, I don't love it either, but I always have a little bet to put on something. My gut says that this is actually a bounce back for Detroit. My gut says that. They, as far as energy level is concerned, anyways, they got 2 games off after this, and they play Vancouver at home. If I'm McClellan, I'm like, look, okay, we crapped a bet. Like, let's face it. Now we got a chance to redeem ourselves here. At the very least, if you lose this game, you can't be losing like you did against Pittsburgh the last game. So I think Detroit's going to come out hot here. Another thing I have an issue with Ottawa is I can't get that taste in my mouth the last time they played LA and they were heading out west. Now, they were going out to the West Coast in that game, but they didn't come out very well either. They had 1 foot out the door. And I kind of got that feeling that maybe Ottawa might have one foot out the door here, at least to start the game, just not really getting it. And I think Detroit's going to come out hard. So I got a little bit on Detroit first period is the best I could do here. I can't trust them for the full game. But I do think they're going to come out hard in the first period. So I'll take Detroit first period, and that's pretty much everything I have on this game because, for all the reasons you said, it's a very difficult game to cap. So I'm going to take a little bit on Detroit first period.
There are a couple Detroit, like I said, I like more player props than side or a total pregame when it comes to this game. I'm looking at the Red Wings here and the way their top line may be constructed here tonight. John Leonard back in the lineup for this team in this game. So that's and probably on the top line as well for the Detroit Red Wings. So, and I also see someone that's not, we've talked about him the other day. He was one of our favorite player props last year, and he's just had a really, really tough season for Detroit. But I'm seeing that he might be with Larkin tonight on the top line. Casper, the friendly betting ghost, Marco Casper. I think for a guy that just has not had it going for him at all offensively this year, I'm very, very interested now. If he's going to get a top line opportunity, that maybe this could be a night when he busts slump potentially here for the Detroit Red Wings. So a Casper and a Leonard look for the Detroit Red Wings, assuming they're going to be with Larkin. And I'm seeing that because Todd McClellan's put the line, like he knows he's got to shake things up after that abomination against Pittsburgh on Saturday. And I'm seeing Casper with Larkin in between Leonard and Casper on the top line. Kopp centering Kane and DeBrincat on the second line. Comfer centering Raymond and JVR on the third line. That's a message being sent to Lucas Raymond by the head coach, putting him down on the third line. So, like I said, a little bit of a blender job going on here for Todd McClellan after that. Like, that was one of the worst games they've played all. That probably was the worst game Detroit's played all season against Pittsburgh on Saturday. So, lineup shake-up as a result of that for Detroit. But yeah, I like the value there with Casper, assuming they're going to play with Larkin, Casper, and John Leonard. I think for goal props, both worth a look here for the Detroit Red Wings in this game. I think on the Ottawa side of the equation, you look at Batherson's been good of late. Zetterlund is still value with him and Stützle and Giroux on the top line for them at the moment. So, like I said, there's probably decent value again with Zetterlund. Zetterlund got the game winner against Washington couple of games ago. All right, Seattle and Calgary. We've got Calgary minus 145, home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Disappointing loss on home ice for Calgary Saturday, losing to the Nashville Predators in that game. We'll see if they can bounce back. And it was a late third period goal, which gave Nashville the victory there in that game against the Calgary Flames. We'll see if Calgary can bounce back. They had won 3 in a row on this homestand. Following that, this is the last game of the homestand, and then they go on the East Coast road trip starting in Montreal on Wednesday. So this is a final game of a homestand for them. Calgary's won 3 of the last 4 meetings against the Seattle Kraken. Seattle's off a 4-3 shootout win over the Vancouver Canucks. Both games, Seattle-Vancouver, that they played against one another head-to-head went past regulation. That would be something I'd maybe be interested in here. Maybe a look to the draw with Seattle, Calgary. I could see this classic for these two teams to go to overtime. Half the time you can't trust them offensively. You'd expect probably a close 1-goal type of game between these two teams. 3 of the last 5 meetings have gone past regulation, Kraken versus Flames. That's something to consider as well. 2 of the last 3 here at the Saddle Dome between the Kraken and the Flames have also gone past regulation. So that's really kind of what I'm looking at here more than anything is the draw. I kind of lean over simply because it's 5.5. Seattle has scored 4 goals now, back-to-back games. It's a sign of life for them offensively. And you go back even further, Seattle during this 6-1 run, they've scored 3 goals or more 6 of the 7 games. So don't look now. Finally, a little offensive life from the Kraken. Calgary not defending nearly as well. And Calgary's had a little bit of an offensive uptick during this stretch where they've been playing a little bit better. So I think at 5.5, full season numbers say maybe see a defensive game here. But the short-term current form numbers indicate that both of these teams are in some of their best form offensively of the entire season right now. So I think at 5.5, I'm going to be, like I said, not a big bet because you know how betting these Seattle games over drives me nuts. You know, it can be like pulling teeth getting a Seattle game to go over the total. I've said that over and over again, but 5.5, I will bite on a small over bet here based on the offensive uptick that we have seen from both of these teams of late. Perlo, what do you think here? Seattle, Calgary.
Yeah, I got a little bit on that over as well. I'm just going to keep on rolling with these Calgary first period puck lines. I've been hitting whenever you got a team that's going in that is not very good first period, like Seattle. Seattle is just not a good first period team on the road. I think they've only won 2 all year. So I'm going to take Calgary first period puck line. I am going to take a little bit on the over there. And we don't know who the goaltender is yet, but I'm going to be looking at saves prop for the Seattle goaltender, especially if it's Decord. Calgary shoots like crazy, and I could see this being a draw. Yeah, I'm going to throw that draw on here. I could see this being a draw, so that'll even add more shots for Calgary. But Decord's been playing very, very well, and Calgary shoots from everywhere. So probably my best bet of this game will be that saves prop for Seattle, whoever it turns out to be.
All right, good stuff. As far as props here for Seattle, Calgary, there are actually a couple that I'm got my interest in here for this game. When you look at Seattle, we've talked about how Chandler Stevenson's been very good for a long period of time. I have no qualms about that. There are a few that stand out here for Calgary tonight. You're getting obviously a little bit of offensive punch here. There's a couple of blue liners that have really jumped into the play and made things happen. Jan Kuznetsov is one for Calgary. How about Rasmus Andersson? He's got goals in back-to-back games. You can bet him plus 600 to score tonight. He's got goals in back-to-back from the blue line for Calgary. So, Rasmus Andersson, who's been getting involved in the play a little bit more, and we know he's got that element to his game. He could be worth a shot here as a plus 600. Like I said, he has scored not just 2 goals in back-to-back games. He's actually scored 3 of the last 5 games for the Flames as well. So there's no question about it that he's in some pretty good form at the moment as far as getting involved and putting that puck in the net. We know he's always had a good shot from the blue line. Hasn't always used it consistently. Starting to see him put that puck more toward the net of late for this Calgary Flames team. All right, last game for this Monday slate. It's a rematch. These same 2 teams played in the very same building Saturday, and they're meeting one another again here tonight. Minnesota Wild, Los Angeles Kings. The Wild minus 115 road favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Credit to Alex because I was on Minnesota, but it was a smaller bet for me with Minnesota on Saturday because his concerns. I understood what he meant, and I agreed with him that coming off beating Anaheim, in the game on Friday, now then playing a back-to-back against LA, that maybe they're not going to bring their A game. They did not bring their A game. They did not bring their A game at all. That was not a good performance from Minnesota. They're damn fortunate they were able to get a point out of that game against the Los Angeles Kings on Saturday because they did not play good. But LA is so inept and so horrific at times that it was hilarious to watch that game. Minnesota was getting outplayed, and yet here's LA farting around and making mistakes and breaking down and not managing the puck properly, and Minnesota would cash in. It's like Minnesota's trying to bring you as bad a game as possible, and LA is like, hey, we don't want to win this game. You guys take it. And they kept screwing up, and they kept letting Minnesota hang around in that game. Like, it was a ridiculous game to watch. It really was, especially from an LA standpoint. If LA was worth a damn, they would have won that game 6-2 on Saturday, because that's how much better I thought they were than Minnesota. And yet every little mistake they made, they ended up paying the price for it in a game that shouldn't have gone to overtime, and somehow it did on Saturday night. And LA, won a game that shouldn't have been that difficult for them, but it was. Now you got obviously Minnesota, trying to revenge spot, playing the same team again that you lost to the other night. I'm definitely a little bit more bullish on Minnesota here in this spot than I was Saturday. So I do like them here, minus 115. LA, by the way, 1-6 in their last 7 games off a win. 1-6 in their last 7 games after a victory. So what does that tell you? It tells you what we've said all year. Do you trust LA to follow up success with more success? Haven't done that all year. They win one and then back in the in the shitter again, back in the tank again. That's the problem with LA all season long. That's when I looked that up and saw, oh boy, 1-6 in their last 7 games after a victory. That didn't surprise me one bit. That's what we've seen all year from LA. They give you that one good game and think, hey, it can be the start of a turnaround here, a bit of a streak, and they don't follow it up. And I don't trust them to follow it up here. Now, it does appear that for Minnesota, they will be without a couple of pieces on the blue line, Zach Bogosian, as well as Brock Faber. Is Brock Faber out? Because I've got RotoWire saying he's in right now for the Minnesota Wild. Bogosian's out. I've got definitely Zach Bogosian out. He's not playing here tonight for Minnesota. But at the moment, I'm seeing that Faber's in. But we'll get some confirmation on that at the moment. Let me just see here. Yeah, I see Hughes, Faber, Brodin, Spurgeon, Middleton, and Kierstead. Looks like Matt Kierstead's going to draw in on the blue line here. Now, Russo is reporting Faber is out. Okay, if Russo is, that's correct then. Nobody's on top of the Wild more than Russo. So no Faber. So that means 2 starting defense. I don't love hearing that. 2 starting defensemen out. But this is the LA Kings. So, I still think it's a winnable game for Minnesota. I expect them to play a lot better. They did talk about, just weren't sharp for the duration of the 60 minutes the other night. So, yeah, definitely I'm still going to ride here with Minnesota, minus 115 in this one. Burlow, what do you think? Final game, Wild Kings.
Yeah, we've gone over this. I mean, I had the Wild last game too, and I don't even feel bad about the fact that I lost it. I'm still not taking LA, and I'm not.
I thank them for playing that bad and still giving me a chance to cash my ticket. That's the way I look at it, and we did still have a chance. Yeah,
that's right. I need to see something different in LA before I can back them. At anyway, I got this at minus 105 last night. I was all over it, salivating over it. I mean, if I lose it, I lose it, but I don't see it happening. So. Yeah, give me the Wild. They're going to keep on giving me anywhere near plus money for a team that actually plays like the Wild do compared for a team plays like the LA does. I will be taking it. I was surprised to hear about that Faber thing, though. I haven't heard anything about that either, but he must be out. He must have got some surprise injury, which is too bad because he was going to be my bargain bin for tonight.
So you better have a plan B then.
I got to look at a plan B. But yeah, give me the Wild here. Straight up, just give me the Wild.
Yeah, Michael Russo is phenomenal. There's no one that's going to end up being. Let me just see here. What the fuck, Jonathan? Let me see here. See, Michael Russo. I'm seeing 28 minutes ago. 219. He's posted Bogosian out, Kierstead playing. Hines says he's planning on Faber playing. Gustafson in net. So we got some conflict going on here because Russo tweeted 30 minutes ago that John Hines, head coach of the Minnesota Wild, says he's planning on Brock Faber playing tonight. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for puck drop tonight is what we'll tell you with that. It doesn't change my stance, by the way. I'm still going to be on Minnesota with or without Brock Faber. By the way, I stayed off it Saturday, the total with the Wild and the Kings. When I look at it here in this particular situation, I'm going to go over 5.5. I actually feel pissed that I didn't bet it because I've talked about this. Since Quinn Hughes got there, they're an over machine, Minnesota. They really are. I guess the concern tonight is they had the 5-4 game, and now it's airtight. That is a concern that after the 5-4 game, we get something like 2-1, 3-1 tonight. But the fact remains with Minnesota and LA, since Quinn Hughes got onto this hockey team in the Boston game. Again, I've made note of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8-2-1 to the over since Quinn Hughes arrived in that trade, and every Minnesota road game since the trade's gone over. All right, every Minnesota road game since the trade, 6-0 to the over in Minnesota road games since Quinn Hughes arrived. And I've mentioned that. I didn't bet the over on Saturday, Wild and the Kings, and it flew over the total. I'm betting it tonight. Although I am concerned that, after 5-4 games, same two teams head-to-head, now they're going to play tight and it's 3-1. But we got to ride it, in my opinion. 6 straight overs on the road for the Minnesota Wild since Quinn Hughes got dealt there. So there you go.
I think I'm going to go with the team total over 3 for Minnesota. It's minus 105 at MGM. I mean, if it is going to be over and we both like Minnesota, then it's probably going to be Minnesota scoring most of the goals. And like you said, they've been over machines for the last little while. So not just mostly because of their own goal scoring too. So I'm going to take a little bit on that. I don't mind that. Put a quarter unit on.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Aaron with the salami under, I could see it. Like, it's not going to keep up like it was Friday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday with all the overs coming out of New Year's. And yesterday it leveled off a little bit. You had Montreal, Dallas over, and you had Pittsburgh, Columbus over, and everything else stayed under yesterday in the NHL. And I was noting that Sunday is a pretty big under day usually. But tonight, I'll tell you what, for overs, I don't love Anaheim, Washington over. Lukewarm, not even but lukewarm on the Seattle, Calgary over, and kind of the same with the Minnesota, LA over. Lukewarm, but I don't love it. There's no over on this card that I love. I like the Anaheim, Washington over, and I'm lukewarm with Seattle, Calgary, Minnesota, LA overs. That's where I'm at. And I think the other games could be unders. I think Utah Rangers could be an under. I think, I think it totally wouldn't shock me if Detroit, Ottawa was an under. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. The Prime games, Rich, lately off the top of my head, the Amazon Prime games, there's been some unders. It hasn't been the overfest like TNT, for instance, with the TNT overrun with the NHL games. So something to keep in mind. Prop-wise for this game, Corey Perry, man, just because he's been noticeable lately. He's now scored in 2 of the last 5 games. Quentin Byfield, same thing. These are guys that they got to get something from guys like that, depth production for LA, a team that struggled to score goals. Maybe they get going, of course. For Minnesota, you look at their lineup tonight. I'm going to go back to the well with Yurov, with Kaprizov and Zuccarello on the top line for them here in this game tonight. To keep your eye, too, on who is it? Joel Eriksson-Ek actually starting to heat up a little bit as far as goal scoring, and he is, of course, on the second line for Minnesota. So those are a couple of props I like. Perry maybe for LA, perhaps Byfield for LA. And just because he's still on the top line, I've said this before, Laferriere continues to be, like I said, worth a look as long as he stays with Kempe and Kopitar on the top line. Good stuff, everybody. Shout out to the chat. Thank you for joining us on a Monday. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. A winning NFL Sunday on the website. The NFL season's been great, just phenomenal. 62% for the full NFL season. That's damn hard to be 62% for the full season in the National Football League, but it's been a great season with premium picks on the website. Looking forward to the NFL wildcard weekend. Number 1 ranked handicapper at Wizard Sports Picks in NFL. Profitable seasons year to date in 4 different sports: NFL, NHL, NBA, college basketball. So very happy with the results. Check it out. Great not just me either. Great handicappers on the website. Make sure you check it out. wizardsportspicks.com and get on board with premium picks. We now have long-term subscriptions available too. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, 1-year all access passes available too. So check it out at wizardsportspicks.com and also patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Again, goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. We're going to announce tomorrow on the show the Patreon exclusive live betcast dates on the show tomorrow. So make sure you're ready for that. And we already announced the free-for-all betcast date for the month of January, which will be Tuesday, January the 20th at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. So Tuesday, January 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern time will be our free-for-all betcast date. We'll announce the Patreon exclusive January live betcast dates tomorrow. And of course, like I said, the betting card every day on the Patreon page. So get on board, just $10 per month. Your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it rolling long term. So get on board, $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. And check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. 2 more days left to save 25% off all orders at the store that are $50 or more. So again, 25% off all orders of $50 or more for the next 2 days. So check that out at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks. featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check it out on a Solid Fire Monday. RoyalCannabisShop.com, 20% off with promo code IceGuys. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Monday NHL slate. Perlo, we'll start with you. What do you got for bargain bin special?
Well, I kind of mentioned it. Well, I did mention it. I said it was going to be it. But if he's not going to be playing, then I guess it's not going to be him. But if he's playing, I just like the way Brock Faber's playing right now. He's shooting like the son of a gun. You get him at plus 1,800 to score a goal. But as a backup plan, I'm going to go to Lawson Crouse in Utah, plus 400 up there on the top line. I think Utah will pot a couple against the Rangers today, and I think he's the type of player that is going to score on Shesterkin in front of the net, grinding it out. So I'll take those. Will be my two bargain bins for today.
All right, good stuff indeed with that for Perla with bargain bin special of the night. Bargain bin special of the night for me, I've got two as well. It was very, very difficult to go between. I like one of the two guys on the top line for Detroit tonight. I was just debating, do I go with John Leonard? Do I go with Casper, the friendly betting ghost? He's been good to me in the past, so I'm going to go Casper, the friendly betting ghost. Marco Casper for Detroit, plus 550. Maybe this is the spark he needs to get up there with the captain, Dylan Larkin. So Marco Casper, plus 550 for Detroit. And the other bargain bin special, we'll see if the defenseman for the Calgary Flames has that hot hand one more time. Rasmus Andersson, plus 600. He scored in back-to-back games for the Calgary Flames. We'll see if he can make it 3 games in a row with a goal. So there you have it. Plus 600 for Calgary, Rasmus Andersson, and of course, Marco Casper for Detroit, plus 550 for bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets. How about yours truly, for me, to begin 2026? How about a perfect 4-0 with best bets? Wow. So great start. 4 shows, 4 days, 4 best bet winners to begin the year 2026. We had Florida first goal, first period yesterday. See if we can make it 5 straight today with best bets on the show. But first, we'll start with Perlo. Perlo, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, and catch me tonight on Rico and Perlo's House of Jaime's NHL Exotic Picks Frolic at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We go on just about every night. You can see our card for tomorrow. It's a lot of fun. I've been kind of ill. I've had some illness in the family, but I'm back and we're on right now. Okay, so I have 2 for today. I've been doing the 1 prop and 1 regular pick. So the prop is Granlund over 1.5 shots at minus 130 up on the second line for Anaheim. Whenever he's in the top 6, he gets over 1.5 shots pretty much every time. And the other one, I'm going with Utah. I'm going to take Utah on the money line versus the Rangers.
All right. Before I get to my best bet, I'll just remove the graphic because I just want to mention it, and I forgot to mention Alex's stuff, and I just want to mention this. I think we have the same best bet and the same bargain bin special for both Perlo and Alex today, because Alex has sent in his card, which will be posted. His bargain bin is Lawson Krause for Utah, plus 400. And his best bet, which will now put the graphic back up, Alex's best bet is also Utah, the Mammoth. Utah Mammoth minus 105 against the New York Rangers. So there you go. Krause bargain bin and Utah minus 105 for a bargain bin and a best bet for Alex here for this Monday. So there you go. Good stuff indeed. I will spare the viewers of not having Utah even though I like Utah a lot. That is not my best bet. My best bet is that last game we talked about. Minnesota Wild are not losing 2 in a row to the Los Angeles Kings. I refuse to believe that. I like Minnesota here to bounce back against the Kings here tonight in this spot. Minnesota minus 1. Still some minus 110s out there. Minus 110 is the best price out there with Minnesota. Minus 115 to minus 120 at other spots. But yeah, Minnesota Wild to make it 5 straight best bet winners on the show to begin the season. So Minnesota minus 110 against Los Angeles for my best bet here for this Monday slate. Great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. We appreciate it very much. Perlo, anything else you want to add before we shut it down?
No. Oh, go head over to Perlo's NHL POW. You can get all my new work. I also do a show called Puckin' Deep coming up this week. I love that show. And whatever you do, get yourself a Patreon membership now. You can get into the live streams that are coming up and make some scratch because these guys are awesome. But, thanks again for having me for a guest. It's fun like usual.
All right. And you can find Perlo on this show every Monday and every Wednesday right here on the Ice Guys at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Great stuff indeed. Thanks again. Hit the like button, everyone watching on YouTube. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And don't forget to watch the World Junior bronze and gold medal games, too. Both of those should be pretty good. I will be as well. So make sure you check those out. But enjoy the games and good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.